So basically, corporates need to have their own, define their own personality and stick to it. And that's how they would
That's the
attract
whole idea of a
customers.
brand, yeah.
How much can it expand, you think? Now they've gone to America. What next?
I think they're just touching the frontiers of America.
America, they will break all boundaries. I mean, the kind of success European leagues have, football has,
But if you
I
see
think cricket will have.
football for the last 60, 70 years has been trying to crack America. And still it's probably the number 5th or 6th game. And probably more with the women than the men's team is nowhere. Women's team. So
Yeah, I think
it was a huge struggle.
Yeah, perhaps even baseball hasn't been able to come into Europe so much, right?
No.
Yeah.
But is it something to do with not invented here syndrome? Like cricket was, played in India since ages. The Britishers came and introduced it. Chai, so
We think chai is us, right? We invented chai. We did it.
not
We think we
invented here or not, not indigenous to that is a fact. Like, is Coca-Cola really,
See, I think
good across the
if you
globe?
take hockey, we've always performed brilliantly in hockey. We were world champions for a very long time, by far. But unfortunately, and I'm sorry it did not become a television sport to the extent that, so unless you get the funding, which, if I see the largest media companies in the world today, Facebook, Google, they all survive because of advertising money. And unless you find a way to bring that in, which these sports didn't find a way. Now, how that X factor happened where cricket became popular, while we had greats, so while you had a Gavaskar, you had a Dhanraj Pillai, and you had others in hockey as well. But it didn't happen for them on media, and they did not get the advertising support. And I think that's been really a puzzle for me always. How a sport in a country, like how does America have basketball and baseball, but not soccer, because there's, so I think every country, I also hear that cricket is not very big in Australia or New Zealand or even in the UK now. Very few people
Number
actually.
3rd or number 4th.
Yeah.
So is the format of cricket, because after every over, there's a break. So you can put an ad, unlike any other sport. Because that format is more amenable to advertising. So hockey has got 15 minutes, it's got 4 breaks. So you can't take a break in between.
That cricket as a sport is not really big in the UK or in Australia, right? The format is the same. But why is the subcontinent, like you said, embrace it so much? Now that is a puzzle, right?
I think
why not football? Why not
It's
hockey?
a bit like, every brand and everything has to have a timing.
Right.
So as hockey and football were kind of deteriorating, cricket won in 1983. And that gave a... So it's also, brands also have to get their timing right.
Also the size of the market, the returns on your investment are great here. Maybe that's not so true in the developed world. Maybe that's so has it peaked now, you think, cricket from a business perspective, or is this the top, or is still another peak to come in?
I think there's a huge upside still there. Yeah. Because if you just look at the strength of our currency and our, upside for corporates to grow, cricket is a prime property.
So I'm sorry, I take an example very often, even with the investors. Havells, before cricket and after cricket, it's a different story. It was an industrial brand unknown to most people in India, except people in North, maybe to some extent. They spent 3 years continuously, about 400 odd crores, 450 crores. And look at where it is, where today it's got a market cap, of about what, maybe more than that, yeah. 30,000 crores. How much is it, market guess? How much is it, market cap? More than 30,000 crores. So they created a consumer brand from an industrial unknown brand. Over 3 years, by investing in cricket, they created a consumer brand. Products are not great, but preferred. No, I think number one is, give what the consumer wants. Consumer wants different segments of consumer want different consumption of cricket, from 5 days to 20 overs, not really 10 overs. So they've understood what consumer wants. And of course, more importantly is new age media they've been able to capture. These are two things. I mean, there are plenty, but these are, I don't want to give a laundry list.
Cricket has always evolved. I mean, what's next? What's next? We always ask this question. So if I remember correctly, IPL started in 2008 and it's still going strong. What's next for cricket to evolve? It's always there always been talks about test cricket being in 4 days, maybe giving more relief to bowlers to have more bowler-friendly pitches instead of having more batsman-friendly pitches. Then cricket being faster, maybe they are already planning to have a T10 league in India. So cricket has always evolved and it will evolve in the future as well.
To that point, what amazes me and the lessons which I take back is that cricket has really been able to sustain over generations. From our grandfathers to fathers to our children and perhaps their children. This is one sport or one business of sport which has continuously innovated, and hence it is still so relevant. And even though iconic players and brand ambassadors have changed, the affiliation towards that particular brand or that particular ecosystem still continues. I think what companies, so cricket to me in India is built to last. It's built to scale. And from a company's point of view, we talk about, very high valuations in a very short span of time. We look at, as we say, creative destruction. We talk about, quick mergers and acquisitions. There's in the startup world, it's over how quickly you can make more and exit. And here I think, this is an example where you've just sustained and built it over generations. And iconic companies like in India, the TATA houses, and say Reliance and, the Birlas, they have sustained those businesses and built that brands over generations. And I think that's where, I think the analogy is that it's not a quick game. It's not how fast you can go. It's how far you can go.
Hey. For me, I'll move from cricket to actually some of the teams and, and more to the IPL, where you have a CSK, you have a Mumbai Indians. They have really created huge fan followings. Unlike some of the other teams, which struggle a bit. And you look at what they're doing very well. They have a consistent set of players. So there's a consistent set of attributes. So the players won't change so frequently. So it's easy to identify them with a brand. I know Dhoni is there with CSK. So that helps a lot, that consistency. Brands can't change their personalities and hope to retain loyalties. So you have to be consistent. You also have to be a performer. These teams win. And that's why you continue to have this. These teams expand. They spend a lot of money in creating the infrastructure to help the brand grow. It's not just about you recruited 3 cricketers and we'll win. They create the whole environment in which the brand will succeed. Be it in the back-end production to quality to XYZ. You'll have to create that. I think these are some things that some of these real solid brands have done, creating the whole ecosystem to help the brand.
Yeah, so they have built this value system, as I rightly said, Dhoni, Jadeja, Suresh Raina, they have been just being the face of CSK over. You don't see them in any other, team every second year. So that has able to create that stickiness to that, brand. I asked my son, my son watches English Premier League and, I said, who do you support? He said, Liverpool. I said, why? You have never been to Liverpool. Okay, you have never seen them play, on their stadium, and he knows everything about Liverpool. And he researched and, he knows which were the iconic players and which are the in the past and now. And, that, so Liverpool in that sense, just like, Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings have created that whole aura and value system where you naturally gravitate towards them. So I think companies and corporates, as long as they built, I remember, to that point, in my, very younger days, there was a joke in Bangalore. If the groom works in Infosys, it's very easy to get married. That was the whole aura of Infosys, working in, if you're in the Bangalore region. I don't know if that true anymore or not, There are many more companies, So I think that, over these periods, whether it's in sports or in the corporates, I think the more you do the same thing again and again. Brands are not built by doing different things, to your point. is doing the same thing, just better and bigger every time.